Recognize our first timers or anybody their first time here today. All right, welcome, glad to have you. And then organizers and alumni, if you can please raise your hand as well, organizers and alumni. If you'd like to learn more, check one of those people out. All right, and that being said, our next presenter is a diverse business owner. Today she'll be sharing about a worldwide movement called TimeBanks. This is her social impact piece that can be combined with life and business. She founded the local chapter 1 year ago this month. Please welcome Samantha Sargent.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, 1 Million Cups. So I have my notes because I really do get nervous in front of groups like this, even though I'm here every week. It's just a different capacity when you're presenting. So yes, I helped found the local chapter of TimeBanks, which is called the Pikes Peak Region TimeBanks. So I found TimeBanks through giving in business. I'm sure as entrepreneurs, you guys give back quite a bit. That's why you're here at 1 Million Cups. We're an entrepreneur support group. It's just kind of a part of the fiber of our being. And sometimes you hit a wall where you're like, I can't volunteer my life away. That's where I was multiple times in my business. So I was helping a friend through her master's program. She was doing a beta program. Actually, I'm sorry, it was her doctoral program. So she was doing her doctoral thesis with a mastermind, which later she did turn into an income producing business. The idea was that we would get together 5 or so business owners. We all were diverse in our abilities, social media. I'm kind of one of those people that's an activator. I have all the ideas. I can see where the gaps are and help fill those gaps. That's what I do in my for-profit business. But I was still doing it as a part of this give back piece. And the idea was that if there was 5 of us, for instance, we would all focus on one person for about 3 hours in a month, all at the same time. And then the next month, the same people were supposed to return to help the next person, and so on. Well, what we found is that someone would be given those hours and then they would disappear. So, of course, that's frustrating. We were sharing that with our friend Becky. She owns a nonprofit in California, and she was a part of one of those beta groups. So we were sharing with her how frustrating it was that people couldn't give back once they received everything they needed. And she said, well, what you guys are doing is time banking. And both of us were like, what is that? And so she told us what it was. Basically, it is a worldwide organization. It started in the 80s. Edgar Kahn was literally on his deathbed, and for just a moment in his entire life, he had a thought that he never wanted to have again, and it was on his deathbed, he thought, I have no value right now. And then immediately he was like, what? Yes, I do. Even on my deathbed, I can still give value to people. So he's actually a lawyer, and so was his wife. They did a lot of things to help volunteer organizations not be taxed, for instance. And so they created the time banks. So it's where people trade their time for time. Everyone has the same value. So either whether you're a tattoo artist, a doctor, a lawyer, a garbage man, a stay-at-home mom, your hour has the same value as anyone else's hour. And so they started that. And in the 90s, they got funding and went national. And then shortly after that, went global. So there are thousands of TimeBanks chapters all over the United States. So when Becky shared with us what TimeBanks was, at the time, the person that I was working with in business, we thought, okay, let's open a local chapter. So we filled out the application, and for some reason, it wasn't accepted, and life moved on. And 2 years later, it just hit me like a wave. Why didn't we do time banks? Because it's still something I was doing, just not actually earning the time credits. So I went on to the website. I did about 3 weeks worth of research because I like to be very thorough with the way that I learn. So I literally printed out everything to make sure that I didn't duplicate anything because the system wasn't perfect. Nothing is. And I applied. once I kind of understood what it would look like, what it would mean, so I applied, and the very next day was accepted. And I was like, oh, that was really easy. Okay. And so each group can establish their own criteria for what they want to go for and do, but it's very similar to 1 Million Cups. It's for the people, by the people. So each chapter can have its own way of doing things. And so basically how I tell people what TimeBanks is it's a mobilized community of givers. It is a place where, say there's a bowl of fruit in the middle of the table. We all bring something and we put it in the bowl and we take from it what we want. So going back to what we started with, if we have this group of 5 people and someone goes out, it's okay for them to only give what they can and then to receive what they need. So if someone does music lessons and they give a music lesson to Cam, and Cam has another person that wants to learn how to make sourdough bread, then they can do that from her, and it becomes a circle of giving rather than I give to you, now you have to give to me. Because sometimes we give to people and they don't have something to give back to us. Not that we're going to demand that from them, but it is nice to have the reciprocity and to know that when you do give something, there can be something given to you, or when you have a need, that need could be met by this community of givers. So we started in November of last year, the week of Thanksgiving, and so we're currently at about 135 members. I'll actually double check that now, and it's just been a fantastic journey. I've met people all over the world and gotten so many ideas of things that we can do that helps the community. So if you're already doing that, if you're already volunteering for Junior Achievement, for 1 Million Cups, for anything, you can earn time credits just like we do. Thank you, guys. Probably could have moved that. Yeah, someone has the mic. I'm going to look at my notes while you guys decide who wants to ask a question.
Thank you for sharing your passion with us, Samantha.
You're welcome.
So if someone wanted to get involved in TimeBanks, like what do they have to do?
So we decided, well, we was me in the beginning. There were a handful of people that I told right away, hey, I applied for this, already got accepted, and immediately they said, oh, I want to be a part of that. One of those was Greg Sheldon, Auto Shop Vocational. He gives all his time, all the time. People will call him and ask him for advice on their car, or he'll go out, and then they're like, how much do I owe you? And he's like, I don't know, I was just in the neighborhood, so whatever. And instead they can give him time credits. Maybe he says, hey, $50, and they're like, oops, I don't have $50. And he's like, okay, well, give me 20 and some time credits. And then they do so. What was your question? I already lost track of that, sorry.
Oh, just how would somebody get involved
if
they wanted to?
So we decided, like, the first handful of people, which Coral was one of them as well, and then I met a gal, her name is Tina, on next door. So within the first week, we kind of had that core group. So we decided to make it a free membership. It actually does cost about $5,000 a year to run a TimeBanks. So I committed to getting that piece going and investing my time and finances into starting it and seeing how it goes. We decided to be free. We do have optional membership fees. But we do fundraisers, so people can just simply come to a social, buy dinner, and then a portion of the proceeds go back. We got a fiscal sponsor called the Open Collective. They're out of California, so we can't do any fundraiser that we want because some of your fundraisers in Colorado have to be Colorado-based. But since our fiscal sponsor's in California, we can do lots of other things. And so for now, we're free. And I'm sure you all know once you put a price tag on something, then you learn the true value of it. But I felt like if there were other people that enjoyed the vision and agreed with that, if we came into a space where we needed more money to come, that people would donate. Go ahead. Oh, wait, the microphone so that the audience on Facebook can hear. Yeah, Jacob will bring it around.
So how do you generate revenue for your business then?
Well, I keep my business semi-separate. But in my business, I do need volunteers sometimes. So because I I tell people, oh, I pay really poorly or I pay nothing at all. I now have time credits that I can give to people. So it's my job as a facilitator to know the members in the group and to know their needs and to know their gifts. That's been another gift to me is that I can see to the soul of a person. So there are a lot of people in Colorado Springs and around the world that have forgotten their value. They don't think that they have anything to give to the world. And usually I can immediately see their gifts and remind them of who they are and help them refresh themselves in that mode. So again, I forgot your question. So did I answer that? What did you ask? My for-profit, excuse me. Can anyone get me a cup of water maybe? I'm sorry. It's really dry. The fundraisers help us generate that income. So also what we decided in the beginning, the three main pieces that we use the funds for, one is for entrepreneur. Thank you, Coral. We help fund entrepreneur events. So as you know, 1 Million Cups is a free organization, but we need coffee sponsors because there are hard costs to running 1 Million Cups. So that's one of the hard costs. So there are some people that our sponsors regularly, people we can reach out to that will fund that, but there are some times where we don't have that funding. And so we can ask the group through Open Collective in the TimeBanks, hey, do you have the budget for the coffee sponsor this month? And then we can either be the sponsor as the TimeBanks, or we can say, actually, we'd like for so-and-so to get a little bit of attention. So we're going to give the funds for them and they're going to promote themselves. So we have an entrepreneur fund. We can use that for multiple things. And then we also have a food fund. So in events, since I'm kind of an event person, if there's a piece in an event that has a paid piece, a hard cost, that's not going to be able to be met, but will be a key element in elevating the event, then the group can ask the TimeBanks, hey, can we have this much funding to ensure that our volunteers have water and snacks, or that our vendors get water and snacks, you know, granola bars, bananas, whatever, then we can use the funding through the TimeBanks to do that. There's one other one, but I can't remember what it is right now. Does that help answer that, Cassie? Okay. Go ahead.
Do the members meet together like on a weekly or monthly basis? Or you mentioned the dinners. How do the members meet each other and interact? What kind of events do you have?
Good question. So we use a CRM called Community Weaver. And so that takes care of housing, tracking the hours, and people put in their information so you can see their bio, and then they tell us what gifts they have and what talents they have. So I can go into the system and look digitally. We did try the first 6 months to do one of the key pieces for TimeBanks worldwide are potluck dinners, potluck lunches, breakfast. So we were running monthly breakfast potlucks to accommodate business people, stay-at-home moms, retirees, and then we also ran a monthly dinner. The attendance on those was like 0 to 10 people. So sometimes there'd be 0, sometimes there'd be 10, sometimes 5. And we just found that people didn't want to bring anything, that they actually would rather go to a restaurant and support local. So that's when we found the fiscal sponsor. So now we can do things at Chick-fil-A, Carrabba's. We're going to do one at Perry's Pizza. So anyone that has fundraiser nights, now we can do that and be social. So again, it's my job and a few other people's job to know all the members. And then when they put a request in there for something that they need, then we can match them with someone else. So there are emails that go out every Monday to tell you what new requests are there or what new offers are there. And if people don't see it for each other, then I have that cue to say, oh, did you see so-and-so's this and that? And they can decide if they want to be contacted through the platform or through text messaging or in person. Our goal as a TimeBanks is to be able to fund long-term background checks so that when people do time exchanges for babysitting or for things in your home, because we do have some members that are mechanics, plumbers, and massage therapists, and you know that's their livelihood, so they can't give away a lot of time. But when they find someone that actually does need that service, then they can do the time credit that way. Or they can say, hey, I'm willing to give 2 hours a month. And so they can say, you know, I'm already booked out 3 months, but in 4 months, I can give you that time. So the answer to your question, long story short, is online or in person if they choose. Just the in-person piece hasn't really worked. We also used to do monthly orientations, but I found that one-on-one orientations is working better than the group ones. So not everyone wants to be in a group. So I try to meet people where they are and do both. So it'll just kind of grow how the community allows it to grow. Go ahead. I think she had a question. Oh, that's awesome. I love it when that happens. Someone else.
If we are
answer.
interested in becoming a member or a part of this organization, how do we do that?
So Pikes Peak Region TimeBanks.org takes you to the Community Weaver where you can fill out the application. I'll get an alert that says someone applied to be a member, and then I'll accept you and reach out to see if you want an orientation. We do have a member that was willing to help us do some YouTube videos and voiceovers so that we could do online orientations. That just hasn't come to fruition yet because it's a lot of work, right, Kevin? So it takes time to build some of those things. But yeah, as people come and say, oh, I can help with this, I can help with this, then it grows that much faster. So you just go online, and if you need help, which I've done many times, I just sit down with you on my computer and help you do the same. And then hopefully you'll be able to help others do the same, and then it just grows like that. Yeah, and I'll just add to that too. Another goal of ours long term is there's a gal that has a beautiful YouTube video. So if you go to pikespeakregion.timebanks.org, in the About section, there's 2 videos. One of them is a 2.5-minute video that is actually 12 years old, but still completely accurate about what Time Banks is and how it works. It was an ABC broadcast. And then there's another gal that has a 12-minute YouTube video. If you watch her video, that talks about Time Banks eloquently and with like really big words that I don't even know what they mean. And it's awesome. But basically what she did in her community is they opened a community center where people could pay, they could volunteer, and they could earn their time credits. So I would like to have a facility that we can use on time credits and have a contingency space for outdoor events, because we all know Colorado weather can be very unpredictable. So most event coordinators don't have a contingency date. So they can have a contingency space and still not cancel their event and keep things going no matter no matter the weather. So that's a personal goal of mine. And again, the group, the members help decide what grows to the bigger piece. Because one of the mottos for Time Banks is you're only limited by your imagination. So if you say, hey, can I do this for Time Banks? Can I do this? Does this count? Sure. Yeah, of course. We just kind of have to figure out. Hard costs are not covered. So I'll do an example. Say somebody wants their mother's recipe of a blueberry pie. And this is like the perfect blueberry pie, but they've tried to make it and they can't. So they go to the platform and say, I really need someone to make this blueberry pie. Is anyone good at pie? Because I cannot get it done. If they find someone, then obviously you have to go to the grocery store, which is gas. You have to make the purchases, which is the groceries. And then, so anything that's time, driving there, grocery shopping, making the pie, and delivering the pie, if they agree to do all of those things, they have to agree with the person might pick it up, etc. Then that person would pay the time credits, but then they would also pay the hard cost. So they would not be expected to pay for their groceries. So they would have to agree to that ahead of time. Okay, the groceries should be about this much money. I'll pay you in advance. I'll pay you whatever. So I just try to remind people too that I like to work with people that are chill and laid back and honest. And I don't want to have to police you paying someone or you not paying someone. So just be responsible, be an adult, take care of it the right way. But if I have to, then I'll step in and make sure that people are doing what they say they're going to do, because I'm sure you all know that doesn't always happen with adults or children. I'm gonna look at the time, and is there, I'll see if are there any more questions? I don't know what time it is. I don't have a watch. Okay, so I'll let you guys police me on that, but let me see if there's anything I wanted to mention. I think that's it, so.
Ready for the super secret question? Super secret question.
Sure.
I really appreciate what you've done because
Do you want the mic?
I've been curious myself about Pikes.
Jacob, will you give her the mic so the Facebook people can hear?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thanks, Samantha, for this
You're welcome.
presentation.
Thank you, Kim.
Because I've wondered what TimeBanks
Sure.
is myself. So what can we do as Colorado Springs business community to help you?
That's a good question, and we all know it's hard to answer because as a 1 Million Cups presenter, my answer to that is not supposed to be buy my stuff, join my thing, like my this, help my SEO. It's supposed to be something that I'm struggling with, that I don't know what to do or don't know how to do it, or I've tried it and it's not working. There's too many of those for me to list. So I guess my answer to that would be ask questions. Just do something. I'm always open to feedback, but again, I like kind people. So remember that I'm a human being too, so don't be too judgmental. And again, this is the group for the people, by the people. So it is what we make it. If it continues, so be it. If not, then that's what's meant to be. But it's something that I give to 1 Million Cups. So every week I bank 5 hours. And so when I need some yard work done, that's my biggest one. That's probably going to be my biggest request on the platform. So if you feel like I've given to you and you do want to give back to me, then if you're a member, look at what my needs are, what my requests are, and come help me clean my yard. I'll feed you pizza. So thank you guys for having me, and I'm here every week so you can ask me more questions anytime.
All right, thank you, Samantha. You probably have one or two of these, but here's another one. All right, and with that, one more round of applause for Samantha, guys. All right, we do want to thank our space host. That's Judy Paring. Is she here today, around the corner? Can she hear us? Nope, not today. All right, she is the proprietor of this lovely space, The Next Us. If you'd like to be more involved or host business meetings, anything here, get in contact with her. Let's see, space etiquette. Please make sure to clean up after yourselves, throw away your coffee cups. If you want to help put away some chairs, that's fine too. Final announcements and thoughts. Life's a garden. Dig it. That's it.